Welcome, ladies. Today we'll be learning about telpas. We're gonna review over the writing sample collection and what the requirements are for the writing sample collection. I provided you all with your PowerPoint, so you can look off of that. We're gonna try to get it up on the screen, but meanwhile you can follow along with your packet. All right, so we're looking at grades 2 through 12, introductory training on your PLDs. All right, so proficiency level descriptors, we also know them as PLDs. The PLDs are the rubrics teachers use to determine the student's English language proficiency. Yes.
Do we have that one? Sorry.
It's there. It's a different.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. To determine students' English language proficiency for ongoing formative assessment and the Spring Telpas administration. Originally, this was developed for the Telpas. The PLDs were incorporated into the Texas English Language Proficiency Standards, ELPS, in 2007 and 2008 school year to reinforce their use in instruction. Okay, there is listening, speaking, reading, and writing. For the sake of today, we're mainly going to review the writing. There's beginning, intermediate, advanced, and advanced high. Beginning, that's when they struggle a little bit. They're not able to fully finish a sentence. So they might say, I school. They can't fully, I went to school. They don't have that full thought just yet. Intermediate, I went school. Then that's when you can add to them. You went to school. When did you go to school? Or where is your school? You could extend their thought a little bit more. Advanced, it should be grade appropriate. So similar to the monolingual peers that they have. Advanced high, grade appropriate with minimal second language acquisition. So advanced does have some support, but advanced high has like minimal, really similar to their peers. And this is the PLD for listening, so we're gonna skip past this because this is listening. Still on speaker. All right, here's writing. So, real quick, I've provided you all some paper, so because the answers are gonna be there. I provided you all some paper. Here's a sample. So, what do you think a beginner and an intermediate and advanced and an advanced high would look like? I've provided you with some markers. Well, you can write on that one if you wanted to. It was just a sample.
You want me to copy it on that?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just a sample so both of you all could look at. So that way you have something to take back with you to kind of refer back to. I'm not too sure. What do you recall? And then we'll share together. I'll give you all a minute or so. What do you recall? A minute or two, and then.
A little bit better. Oh, I see those.
Yeah. Those are a little bit more. And so right now, as we do with the students, sometimes we're working individually, and then right now you all can shoulder partner, and we'll share, see what we have different on each other's. I can put a timer real quick.
You didn't finish the math. Oh, sorry.
At least just one thing on each one,
Okay.
and then we can share out together. Kind of share ideas. And go ahead and wrap up your thoughts. Y'all can go ahead and kind of share out what you have. You can maybe add to each other's or not. Just kind of share out what you have so far. It's okay. It's okay. Go ahead.
So beginners need plenty of support and they're still barely learning the language.
Okay.
Intermediates can write, minimal, but they need a lot of support still to write it.
Right.
Advanced, they can write kind of almost with their grade level.
Mm-hmm.
They still use some support, and then advanced highs, they write at grade level, sometimes even above, with hardly any support at all.
For mine, they use their native language, so they use Spanish words or
In the beginning.
in the beginning. That's the
Mhm.
beginning, and they have incomplete sentences.
Mhm.
Usually, they have trouble writing the correct verb usage. The intermediate grammar mistakes, they usually use the past tense, or they tend to make those type of mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
For the advanced, they are in grade level. They
Mhm.
form complete sentences, and then we have the advanced high, and then they're actually at level, grade level, and they use those type of sentences where they're a little bit more advanced.
Okay. I agree. The only minor little thing is when we focus a lot on grammar, it tends to be more towards star. So this is more their English proficiency, and we try to keep that. I know we're always
That's why I
trying
always
to.
tell them,
We want to
not the
extend.
grammar.
Yes.
Don't
just
worry.
focus
The
on
spelling tempo.
if it's a complete thought. If they're able to clearly state what they want to say.
Mhm.
And like you said, I know you mentioned it, Joanna, that it needs to stay away from their native language and
Mhm.
focus on the English, even if it's minimal, but it to stay in English language. So yes, I agree. Let me go ahead and share with you the PLDs. So this is the one only for writing. And we can kind of glance and pretty much what you all said, you'll have it there. There's highlighters provided if you want to kind of confirm that you see something similar to pretty much what you all said. You all are very familiar with the PLDs because you said a lot of the verbiage that's actually on the PLDs. Because I've seen the grammatical errors and minimal support, and then less support as you get to advanced high. So you can kind of confirm, there's a present tense. That's pretty much all I taught. It's what it states there. Okay. All right. Okay, so remember that the writing ratings of the students in grades 2 through 12 are based on collections of their writing from a variety of content areas. So they will have one that'll be past tense, and then they'll have 3 left, and that'll be math, science, social studies. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So one of each. Writing and speaking. Remember that incorporating appropriate writing and speaking activities in subject matter instruction helps English learners internalize the new vocabulary and language structures. So in our instruction, when we try to incorporate when they talk about the activity and then when they actually write out the activity, or on their assignments, that we try to get complete sentences on their assignments so they can internalize their complete thoughts. Writing in content areas, sample helps student expectation. Narrate, describe, and explain with increasing specificity and detail to fulfill content area writing needs as more English is acquired. In science, this expectation can be addressed through writing assignments in which students, for example, observe, describe, and compare physical properties. Writing using newly acquired basic vocabulary and content-based grade level vocabulary. In math, this expectation can be addressed by having students, for example, write about shapes that they're studying and name the items that they have at home with similar shapes. So that this way it becomes not only what we're learning in school, but they make the connection. What we have at home or what happens in the real life, in the grocery store, in the parking lot, there's similar shapes. So the parallel lines, the perpendicular lines, they can identify. It's not just this is in school and we only learn it in school, but it applies to real life. So they can make that connection. And then STAR writing versus the TELPAS writing. STAR measures how well students compose, revise, and edit text as required by the TEKS language arts standards. STAR measures the ability to compose text with clear, controlling ideas, coherent organization, sufficient development, and appropriate word choice style and mechanics. TELPAS, on the other hand, which is what we're learning about, measures how well English learners are able to express the English. Are able to use English to express their ideas in order to learn the writing skills above and fulfill grade appropriate writing assignments in all their classes. So a little bit different. Basically, shortly, right? STAR is more geared, Ms. Gutierrez, towards?
They focus on the spelling, the punctuation, the way they put together their organization. The organization of it.
Okay, and then on the other hand, TELPAS?
It's more their English.
English, that's basically what it is. English trying to stay astray from the native language.
Yes.
All right, introductory resources for writing, grades 2 through 12, writing collection overview, and annotated examples. This is pretty much telling you where we got the PowerPoint, and it is from TEA, I'm sorry. So it's kind of a disclaimer, just letting you know this is where we got the information. You have been provided with a PLD. Just a couple things I wanted to go over was, I know while they're writing, the students are struggling to incorporate some ideas or kind of extend their writing. So if we assign it per se, like on a Monday or a Tuesday, if that student was absent or something like that, they still have time to make it up. And it doesn't have to be completed all in the first time that they sit down. They can do it again. Maybe they had 5 sentences on Monday, and maybe that day they weren't having a good day, or they just couldn't form any ideas. You can come back to it on Tuesday, on Wednesday, so that he can get, or she can get a little bit more. They can also shoulder partner. They can stop the activity. They can shoulder partner to collaborate. You know, what is it that you know? What were we learning in math? Or what did we learn about the water cycle? I don't remember. What are those words? And they can kind of help each other with that. And then once they've done that, okay, then let me go back and let me add a couple more things. So they can use their shoulder partner to collaborate, or in a group, if you prefer that they collaborate in a group, because they're still struggling. Maybe they need a couple more ideas in there. They can also shoulder partner. They can also write it out, and then when they finish write it out, say I have 5-6 sentences. I can take you my paper and I can say, Ms. Gutierrez, I think I'm ready. And you can kind of review over it and you can critique them a little bit. Do you have capital letters? Did you make sure that you were staying always to the English language? Just kind of to give them a little bit guidance. Now, we can't write actually on the paper and leave the notes, but you can kind of give them that feedback and then they can come back, okay, well, Ms. Gutierrez said that I wasn't always sticking to the English language, or she said that I should try to remember the vocabulary word that describes when the rain is falling.
Okay.
What was that word? Like, and maybe they can even shoulder partner and ask, what is it when the rain is falling? Is that evaporation or is it condensation? You know, just to help strengthen their writing. We want to make sure that we're getting authentic samples, but always to try to get the best samples that we can get out of the students, because I mean, naturally that's what's affecting us. It'll help us close the gap in domain 3. So we really want the students to perform at their best. So if we give them a couple of opportunities, if we let them shoulder partner, they can also use their journal and they can also get verbal feedback from you. I know that Mission has the initiative, the Mission Writes. So, I mean, if you've already, I take that back. I'm sure you've already been applying that in your class. So when it comes to, because we're not there yet, we'll start February 10th. It will be after that. So when it comes, it's not gonna be, oh man, we have to do the telpas. Like, because you all have already been implementing the Mission Writes. They're already used to, we have to, construct a full thought. We have to do the capital letter, the period. We need to stay in English. So that'll just be an additional transition. If you're stuck in between two, like you're like, is this kid a beginning or an intermediate? I can't decide. What's encouraged is to take, like, let's say we took 5 samples or we took 7 samples, because we can take more than 5. We took 7 samples, try to stick to the later dates. So try not to stay with, the initial ones, because their writing is going to start to unfold and they're going to start to get a little bit better. Before that will be the Mission Writes, and then as we go into it, it'll get better towards the last one. So that would help you decide, no, you know what, he is an intermediate, or he's a beginner, whatever it is, but what you felt more towards the latter dates. Any questions that we have, ladies, that you can think of?
I do have one student who speaks mostly Spanish, barely learning English. He'll ask me, like, how do you say this word in English? We were able to tell him the words when they're doing the telpas writing, or
when you're giving him feedback in regards to, he's showing you his paper and he's asking you, then at that point, yes, you can.
Okay.
You can't write it down for him, but you can tell him.
Okay,
Plus-
so I'm able to tell them.
Plus, he can also use a dictionary.
Yes, that's what
Okay.
Because he can have a dictionary. Now, he can't use the dictionary for the whole writing,
No, yes.
but he can use it when they're discussing with
Or
their
even
peers,
ask a peer.
when they look on the wall, what you have on your wall as far as, your transitional words and all that. I mean, they can do that.
And then just kind of get them to extend their writing. So yes, it's there, but okay, can you give me a little bit more examples? Or can you describe, let's try and use our 5 senses. What does it taste like? What does it feel like? What does it sound like when I walk into this gym? When I walk into the science lab? What do you see? What are the instruments that you know? What are they used for? So they can, when they start describing, it starts to give them more things to write about. Or when they follow up the sentence with an actual example, like this one experiment that we did, or these one symbols that we used, I used them like this, or it helped me address this question, something else that they can add. Again, just building the connection between home and school. Any other questions? So basically this is our accountability. This is, how they take a look and see where Brian stands. This is mandated through our federal government. So definitely it has the severity of the STAR. It's just a different test. Any other questions? No. We provided you with, your data so that we can compare how your students came in and where they were the previous year. So we provided you with 2018 and 2019, the proficiency level that your students had. So we can briefly look over, okay, did they have a gain? Did they have a loss? And then where did that fall? Because we take a look at the different scores that are provided. Okay, where is it that we can help them? We still have time to continue to support their proficiency. So we'll take a look at that. Did you want to say something else?
So what I'm looking at is that you have 11 advanced. So those 11 advanced, our goal is to get them to an advanced high, right? And then you have a 7 advanced high, which need to maintain advanced high. So if I take a look at my PLD, I take a look at what advanced is asking us for and what advanced high is looking at. So I would take a look at advanced high, because I'm looking at 18 students needing to be in advanced high. So for advanced high, it's telling me that they're able to use the English language with minimal second language acquisition, like you said earlier, to express ideas in writing and engage meaningfully in grade appropriate writing assignments in content area instruction. So you wanna be able to make sure that the content that the probe that you give them they're gonna have enough information to be able to write about it. Because if not, then that's where they're gonna get stuck. Know enough English to be able to develop or demonstrate with minimal second language acquisition support elements of grade appropriate writing in English. So they say typical writing features at this level, nearly comparable to writing of native English speaking peers in clarity and precision with regard to English vocabulary and language structures. And that's where we're saying that you have vocabulary that's posted based on what you learned about being, let's say for example, if you're studying the water cycle, you can have that anchor chart that's on there. And so there's vocabulary that's there that they can turn around and implement into their writing. With occasional exceptions when writing about academically complex ideas, abstract ideas, or topics requiring low frequency vocabulary. Occasionally difficulty with naturalness of phrasing and expression. Errors associated with second language acquisition are minor and usually limited to low frequency words and structures. Errors rarely interfere with communication. So you're noticing there that it doesn't tell you, and this is where you may have to make the comparison between STAR writing and TELPAS writing. Because normally STAR writing teachers are a lot harder on the TELPAS than they should be.
And that's why I always tell them, like, don't focus on the spelling, because they're like, it's beginner because you can't spell. It's like, no, it's not. You have to read it. Does it make sense? Does it flow?
Yes, and then I wanted to share a video, so I'll kind of pause a little bit so we can kind of talk about it as to what you think is going on or what you think will continue to happen. But it's a really good illustration of how their writing needs to be really specific. And that's why I always tell my students when we're doing writing, pretend that you're talking to, a first grader, that you're talking to a kindergarten. They have no idea. So you'll get to kind of take a sneak peek at how the students feel and how the reader may feel.
Sorry you ruined it on purpose. He knows how to make one.
What's up, the internet? I'm hungry. I could really go for a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Do you guys think you can write down some instructions and teach me how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich? Then do it.
I knew we were gonna do this. I heard Dad talking to Mom.
Choke yourself on my hand. Sometimes they do what you tell them. Step 1. Get 2 pieces of bread out. Got 'em. Get a butter knife and get some PB. Take 1 piece of bread, spread it around with the butter knife.
No, Dad, with the peanut butter.
I'm just doing what it says. It says take 1 piece of bread, spread it around with the butter knife. the other half of the bread.
No, Dad, open the jelly.
Well, it doesn't say to do that. Put the breads together on top of each other. Take a big bite. This doesn't taste like a peanut butter and jelly.
So the sister's gonna try now.
Sorry, I had to make it extremely specific.
Oh, good. I'm starving. Take 2 pieces of white bread out of the bag. Take the lid off the jar of peanut butter. Get a butter knife and stick it inside of the peanut butter jar. With the knife, scoop a bit of peanut butter out of the...
That means like a lot.
A bit means a lot?
In my world.
Spread your scoop of peanut butter onto one of your pieces of bread. Alright. There we go.
You're doing better than before, though.
Open the jelly jar. Squeeze it onto the other piece of bread.
No?
Done. Closer.
You suck.
Get 2 pieces of bread. Get some peanut butter. Take the peanut butter knife. Open the peanut butter. Put the knife in the PB. Get some jelly. Open the jelly.
No.
Squirt the jelly onto the bread. Take the butter knife with the peanut butter on it. Wipe it all over the piece of bread that's blank. Take the butter knife. Rub the jelly all over the piece of bread.
So we'll stop there. I know you ladies need to go, but I mean, you kind of get the idea that they really need for us to be specific. You know, hold one of the breads flat on your hand. You know, use the gripping side.
Yes, you can.
Yes.
Yes, they just
Yes.
can't eat it.
Oh. Can we do it during tutoring and then you can eat it?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, that would be cute. They would
For
love
specific
that
details. Very good.
because they internalize it. That's
Because
that's
that's
what.
gonna help create the compound, complex sentences.
But I mean, and I can share the video with you so you can finish seeing it. But the more they go, I mean, I know we're just a couple minutes in, but the whole time he's just like frustrated, and the dad's like, no, like I need you to be specific, and so that's what we encourage for them to be super specific. The more details, the
Yeah,
better.
I'll have fun with that. And even just for sentence structure, like when they speak, because remember that's a strategy also that we're practicing with them. That when they see a picture and they have to turn around and create a sentence
Yes,
before they're
that's right.
speaking, that it becomes more clear, you know, so that they get. Even though also in the speaking, even if they're wrong about the picture, if they're giving them a compound and complex sentence, oh, it's powerful. It's powerful.
The timelines, they're already on the Google Calendar. We will be sending that to you, but they are on the Google Calendar, which each sample will be
And so
due.
it's after February
10th.
10th. Okay.
And if you have any other questions, please, you know where my classroom is, or email me. I'm here to help.
Number.
Especially anything about
Yes.
accommodations, like how you can help, because before they couldn't come to you.
Exactly.
Now
That's
they
what
can
I
come to
remember
you.
that. I remember
Now they
that.
get
That's
come
what
to
I was
you.
talking
So
about
much
right now.
support that we're.
Yeah, like they just finished training them on that you
Yeah,
get.
because right now when she was mentioning that, I was like, I remember.
That's why I had to
Yes.
ask. I was like,
No, I did too, because I was like, what? And Nanny was saying, yes, it's such as they can do it now, and I'm like,
yes, in
awesome.
trouble.
Because,
No.
no, because you're not writing it for them. How many times have you turned around and told a student something and they go and they still didn't write what you told them to
Yeah.
write? You see what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yes.
Or even when you have labeled precipitation, condensation, they still need to explain it. They can't just say, well, precipitation, condensation. Well, they can copy the words, but do they know what each one means or what each one
How to
represents? So it's exciting that we can do so much for them, but they still have to take it and run. Okay? Thank you so much for your time, ladies.
Thank you.